Hello, welcome Solex Nation. It's April 30th, the last day of the month, and that means...
It means that you should pull your reports. If you're a QLA, it's a great time to do that. Go into your back office in the business area. All you need to do is export the report, and you can go and look at the details of it later, but today's the day. It is officially the last day of the month, so no better day.
That's right. We talked about it last week too, and talked about the importance of tracking your business, and we're gonna remind you to do this every month, and you're probably tired of hearing us say it, but you know what? Go and do it. Just do it.
If you're brand new, you have an upline. We also go through a little video show on how to find those reports. They're really easy to access and to get, so you have them and you know what's going on in your business.
That's right.
Today's also the last day of the Methylene Blue promotion, where if somebody enrolls in the last few hours of today with a bundle and a subscription, they will get the Methylene Blue product, we call it Blue, for free.
That's right. So a few more hours for that, but tomorrow starts a brand new promotion with May 1st.
Yeah, May 1st brings pearls.
Pearls? Why do we do pearls?
Well, Mother's Day is in May, right?
It's a good call right there.
And pearls, if you've never heard of pearls, you're like, wait, what are you talking about? We're giving away pearls. Pearls is actually a supplement. It's an essential oils-based supplement that has a pH release in it. It actually looks like a little ball pearl that you can either pop in your mouth or you can swallow it. It helps with digestion, calm things in the stomach. It also can help with halitosis and many, many other things. We launched this way back in September of last year.
Wow, long time ago.
A long time ago, and it's been a great hit. People love it. We use it all the time.
I always have a bottle of pearls in my purse, so if you ever need one, hit me up.
Good.
Okay, also with our quarterly promotions, this is for quarter 2, which we are currently in. If you enroll 3 people in this quarter, then you're gonna get something that's a little different than what we've been doing in the past.
Yeah, if you enroll 3 people or more and you enroll them with a bundle and a subscription, and that subscription successfully transacts, then you will get, after that successful transaction, right, at the end, I give you, lawyer by trade here, at least by education, I have to give the rules so that nobody is like, wait, what? I did this and it didn't happen. You will get a $150 product credit to use the Solex store.
That's exactly right. And if you enroll 6 people, you get an additional $350 product credit. So you have a total of $500 to spend at Solex.
$500 goes a long way to a lot of supplements, to 660 bands, illuminators, even to bigger purchases. Like if you've been saving up for a mat or a detox or a wand, those are great. That's a great way to get there.
It's true.
All by sharing.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. Okay, we have our Day of Discovery in Amsterdam coming up at the end of May. Yeah, May 30th and 31st. There are a few tickets left, so if you haven't gotten your ticket yet, go in and get it. We do have to announce, though, our Solex room blocks for that hotel are sold out. So you will need to find a different accommodation if you haven't gotten your Solex room block.
It's going to be a great event. We're going to have some training, some new information, some new things even at this event.
We do have some new things.
We always bring something new to the table.
That's right.
When we do these events. Now with that, I think it's appropriate for us to say we have our annual live Day of Discovery here in Utah coming up in September.
Yep.
Speaking of room blocks being sold out, those room blocks are moving. We still have them available. But don't get caught in the position where you wanted to come, you buy your ticket, you're ready to go, and you don't have a hotel to stay at.
That's right.
Or at least one that's close within walking distance. Actually, it's just across the street.
Yeah, it's right there.
From the venue.
Yeah, it's at the Marriott. So to buy those tickets, to buy your room block, do not call the Marriott. Go to your back office. We have them for sale in the back office. If you don't see them for sale, it means that we are sold out. Right now, as of April 30th, when we're talking about this, they are still available.
Yep, a great time, make the commitment. I mean, we're at the beginning of summer, almost to the beginning of summer. If you're like me, the summer flies by because there's so much going on with family and friends and hopefully vacations and just enjoying the outdoors. And then all of a sudden, we're gonna be in September already. Not to bring the year past too soon.
No, I want to enjoy the summer,
but it comes fast.
That's right. Okay, we had some top enrollers last week.
And this is for the week of April 21st to 27th, excuse me.
That's right, and we don't have any ties. So who do we have in second place?
Okay, I'm gonna say this name, I'm so sorry. You've been around, you've been here at Solex. I've never said your name out loud. I think it's Jagruti Gopar?
That was a good job.
I hope I did that right.
You probably didn't, but it was a really good effort.
I'm so
That's how
sorry.
I would have said it. Anyway, congratulations to you. You are our second place winner this week. And in first place, a name we've never heard before is Paige Wheeler.
Yeah, never.
In first place again with another set of AO scan passes, and I know she's passing them out like hotcakes. So.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
It's a great way to share. You could give somebody an experience. We've done that several times, giving people just, a week, basically, 6 days to try out the scanner. They can play around with any of those scans that are available in that package, and they can have a great time learning about what the scanner is so they can validate for themselves.
That's right.
What is this doing?
So, Paige, you get another 6-pack, and congratulations to both of you.
And we had a contest.
We always have a contest. And last week, we asked you, what is your Solex business goal? And we decided to give away the Solex planner and tracker,
Yes.
which is valuable. If you don't know what to do each day when you're trying to run your business, this lays it out for you.
You know, you worked with Jess Zavios and Beck McQuilty in that. And a big part of that, what do you think is probably the best part of that tracker and the planner?
I think it is the situation that a lot of people see themselves in where they don't know what to do. They know they're supposed to be working, but they aren't sure what they're supposed to be doing. And so the best part of that is the daily what to do's, where it literally puts out for you, what's the most important thing I need to do today? Here's the top 5. Here it lists out exactly what you should be doing. Helps you keep accountable.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And that's a great way to keep self-accountable. We should all have outside accountability partners.
Yes, absolutely.
But for sure, on the daily, it's nice to go to a journal and say, okay, what did I commit to? Did I do it? Did I not? Why didn't I do it? What can I do better this next day, right?
Okay, let's see our first winner, Karen Dennis. My goal is balance my relationship and self-care and avoid unneeded stress. Great program.
Yeah.
I love that.
For sure, huge.
Yes.
For any business, but business is stressful.
Yes.
And it can run you. Heal with Connie. This has got to be Connie Houlihan.
I'm not sure.
Well, Heal with Connie. Let us know who you are for sure, so we make sure that we get you the business planner and tracker. My goal is to share about the benefits of AO Scan and bring it to their awareness. Help people that feel stuck, sick, or need what AO Scan can offer. And I think everybody has something that AO Scan can offer.
I know it. I know everybody has something.
Yeah.
All right, last one. Harriet Hunter Boykin. My reason for being involved with Solex is to further my knowledge about and further my use of frequencies in healing my body as well as helping others heal their bodies. I also want to learn as much as possible from Solex and our many practitioners. Information is power. That it is. Information armed with action is the power.
Yep.
So congratulations to all of you. You are all receiving the Solex Business Planner and Tracker. And now we have something so exciting to announce.
Yeah, this is a big deal.
It's a big deal. Let's watch.
A few weeks ago, actually, it was right before Virtual Day of Discovery, we asked you on a weekly update at the end of the call, what is something that you would like to see as a new launch at Day of Discovery? So fun to read through all of your suggestions. Overwhelmingly, though, the hope was for new red light devices. Now, we didn't come out with a red light device at Virtual Day of Discovery, but we were pretty excited to read your responses because we knew what was in the works, and that something is here now. Check it out.
Okay, so I bet you did not expect that tonight. Nobody expected a brand new launch from Solex tonight. And it's not only red light, it's so much more than that. I mean, obviously the video does a little bit to teach you. We're gonna have a lot more to teach you about what the AO mask does. But this was something actually, you received some suggestions for something like the AO mask a long time ago, right?
Oh yeah, I had several people ask for a red light mask. We do a lot of work on the inside, especially we have our youth now, we have blue, we have so many products for
We've
the
had
inside.
Bright for a long
We've had
time.
Bright, and that's a topical serum, but we needed red light mask. And so this has been a year in the works.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. So as we dive, we're going to spend the next few minutes teaching about the AO mask, how powerful it is, how it's not a run-of-the-mill, what you see in the marketplace mask, and how beneficial it is in so many ways other than just what it perceives to be beneficial for. Before we get into that though, like you were saying, the Solex is driven to improve and educate people on their health and well-being. We want people to not only know how to improve their health and well-being from emotions to aesthetics, right? But we also want to provide tools that are exceptional and better than the status quo in the marketplace. And so we will always challenge the status quo to try and say, okay, this is in the marketplace. There's something like this. There are several things like this in the marketplace, but how is the market underserved? How could Solex provide something better, either by a better product or by a better price point or by better performance, right?
We have so many things.
Yes, we have that. We have that. And so like that is always the benchmark. When we look at, okay, we're being asked for this, these people asking for this obviously know that there's something in the marketplace like this, but they're asking it from Solex because I guess there might be some trust that Solex will try and investigate to see if we can make it better than what's out there.
Yep.
And we did that. We spent the better part of a year developing this from the ground up. In fact, it may look very familiar as far as the cut and design because there's only really one way to fit a face, right? You got eyes, you got a nose, you got a mouth, and you got to wrap it around the head. That is pretty commonplace. There's no real way to make it revolutionary in that sense. But there is a whole myriad of ways from the outside to the actual lights that we use to the power supply to make it better than what's in the marketplace.
That's right.
And I think that's what we did.
We did. Let's give them a little information about it. First of all, it's not just red light.
No, it's not red light. Okay, so let's start with that. When you look at the low end of the market, the cheap products in the market, you might be able to find a face solution that is an RGB diode, right? A single diode that has a diversity of spectrum on it that can give you a red light, a green light, a blue light. One of the things we knew from the very beginning is to follow sort of the same pattern that we did for the powerful lasers that you find in attached to the AO hub. Lasers that are super high quality, superior in the marketplace, that have very little variance in the nanometer that it offers, but also to do that in a dedicated fashion. So what do I mean by that? Dedicated fashion, so I mean, when we give you a blue light, it is a dedicated diode blue light, meaning it's not a mix of frequencies or a mix of wavelengths to try and create a blue look to it. It is an actual blue nanometer, right? It's within that spectrum with a very small variance. Dedicated blue, dedicated green, dedicated red. And before I get to the big differentiator in the marketplace, not only is the dedicated a more valuable thing in the marketplace, and it's hard to find those dedicated bulbs, but also when you look at the superior products in the marketplace, so the face and neck products, they have the best one that we were able to kind of benchmark against had a 1064. We have a 1064. Of course, we're going to have a 1064. 1064, like I've said in the past, is like, that is the kingpin. That is the be-all, end-all of wavelengths for benefit in the body, in my opinion, right? I mean, all the wavelengths have benefits, but this is like the one that really is the powerhouse that can accentuate the benefits of the others. That's important because we coupled that with an 810 nanometer, another infrared wavelength. Both the 1064 and the 810, you can't see with the naked eye. And so on the control unit, you actually have what's called an NIR, near infrared indicator on the control panel, so you can turn it on, you know when it's on, so because you're never going to be able to see it. Having a blue, a green, a red, and then a mixture of 810 and 1064, I don't know of anybody in the marketplace that has that benefit.
With dedicated 520 dedicated bulbs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dedicated bulbs. That also is a differentiator in the marketplace, or at least it competes with the highest performing units in the marketplace. Now, when I say highest performing units, we're talking about $1,000 setups, right? We're talking about $1,000 face and mask. And when we get to the price point towards the end of this, because we got to keep you suspenseful here, we got to keep things, tense for just a minute so that we can give you what we did on the price point to make that a killer deal as well, right? But all those wavelengths were really important for us, and you'll be able to see that in the mask. You can see each of those.
You can
bulbs.
see each row.
Yeah.
You can see the blue. You can see the green. You can see the red.
Now you're going to see 4 diodes. Now wait, Kai, you listed 5.
5.
It's because every other set of 4 has either the 810 or the 1064, so that both wavelengths run at the same time.
When you push the near infrared button, you're getting 810 and 1064 at the same time. Why would we want to do that?
Well, because one of the things was we're trying to give you the benefit of all the cross benefit of those wavelengths in that delivery. Right? The other thing was you don't necessarily need 1064. It's a very powerful, so is 810, very powerful wavelength. And you don't need it on every set. And so we wanted to be able to pick up a bigger range with the best cost structure so that we, again, to the price point, we can benefit you the best way possible.
When you're using that near infrared setting, the 810 is more of a surface light, and the 1064 drives it deeper in. So it's the perfect combination. Okay, so let's talk quickly about that. So this is, we talked about how Solix has been very driven about building up and benefiting from the inside out. Right? Again, emotions to cellular health to mitochondrial health, so many things, right? We've been driving towards. And we have the 660 band and the illuminator, great tools. We have the lasers with the hub, all phenomenal. This broadens the outside in delivery. Now the skin, most of you probably know this, right? The skin is the largest organ of the body. It actually is responsible for about 15% of the body weight. The skin is to protect, it's to absorb, it's to enhance, it's to simulate and process vitamin D. It's supposed to do, there's so many things that the skin does and is responsible for, and is obviously critical to the body. This is a face and neck mask, but let's talk about that for just a minute. With the design of this, when we say ground up, even the silicone on the outside, that the mask itself, right? Not the circuit board and the inner layer. We actually did something that nobody can do in the marketplace. What do you think it is?
We infused it with Cybin.
Yes.
Of course, so you can actually lay the mask out in the daylight every couple of weeks and have this massive surface of Cybin, which is a negative ion activity going around the face. What is that doing? For those that don't know about negative ions, it sounds negative, but they actually are very positive. Negative ions are negatively charged ion particles that attach to positively charged. Positively charged are actually the negative things in the body. They're the reactive oxygen species, the things that cause damage to the cell, including the cells on the skin. And so when you add a positive to a negative, it actually neutralizes it.
That's right.
And so it becomes ineffective. The negative output of those ROSs, those positively charged things, don't do any damage, or they do less damage, right?
That's right.
And that's really, really powerful. So, okay, Cybin on the outside. We talked about the bulbs on the inside. We also need to mention that it's a flexible.
It is flexible.
Right? It's flexible.
Yeah.
Why do we do that?
Well, some masks they hurt. I actually have a mask that's pretty hard and it hurts when I put it on my face, but we also did that because, you may be thinking, okay, so Lex, you're being so vain. Why do you care so much about beauty? This is not a beauty. This is not necessarily just about beauty because it's flexible. You don't have to just use it on your face. You can use it in multiple ways. You were talking about the 1064. What can 1064 get through?
Well, 1064 is going to penetrate deeper than any of those other wavelengths into the body. One of the things that I love about that is, let's just talk about blue, one of our other products, or any methylene blue product. A leading researcher does research about methylene blue and the benefits to the brain and brain health. One of the challenges to methylene blue in the brain is that because it's a redox agent, it can be enhanced for oxygen collection. Oxygen collection is what methylene blue does. It picks up oxygen and takes the electron, passes it off to the mitochondria, and that mitochondria then can function better, generating energy for the cell, so the cell can do what it's supposed to do. In the brain, that's particularly interesting because there's an awful lot of oxygen in the brain. 20% of the body's oxygen consumption takes place in the brain, right? It's a huge area where we can benefit a lot from methylene blue. The redox function is enhanced when anywhere from red to 1064 reaches that area, that tissue of the body, and causes the methylene blue in that bloodstream to actually enhance its redox function, meaning it's looking for it, can reactivate its oxygen search so it can benefit the mitochondria better and longer. Okay, to your question.
How do you get red light to your brain?
So 1064 is one of the benefits of that. And 1064 can actually, the red light cannot penetrate the skull, like especially the forehead. It won't penetrate the forehead. It won't reach the brain. You can get to it through the nasal cavity. You can probably get through the temporal area where it's thinner, right? But
your skull is too thick.
Most of the skull is too thick for red light to penetrate. But 1064 does penetrate. And so when you wear the mask, 1064 is reaching the brain.
When you wear the mask.
You could wear the mask on the front. You could wear the mask on top.
You could put it behind.
There's so many ways. So let's talk about the flexibility and the diversity of the mask. So, of course, it looks like you're wearing a Jason from Friday the 13th mask, right?
Okay.
When you walk, because one of the things to point out is that it's the control unit is battery powered.
Yes.
It can be recharged, making it portable. You don't have to stay tethered to a wall. You can charge up the battery,
Hallelujah.
Put it in your pocket, walk around, the house, or feel free to drive in a car, but I wouldn't recommend it. The visual capacity of those holes is probably not wonderful for driving a car. And you're going to scare people on the road when you're doing that, unless it's Halloween, right? Okay, so enough of the jokes. When you look like that, it's made for the face, right? Originally designed for the face. But I actually was very interested in the neck piece and okay, often my shoulders get a little tense, the back of my neck. Sometimes I deal with headaches. We talked about using 660 band at these arterial areas on the neck. But guess what you could do with the neck part of the AO mask? You don't just have to wear it on the front. What if you just turned it around and wore it across your shoulders and across your back? What if you put it on your lower back? What if you wrapped it around a leg that maybe you had an injury?
Yep.
And you're trying to deal with that injury, whether it's scarring and you want to use green light, or whether you're trying to be antibacterial and trying to use blue on it, or red with collagen production. 1064 and 810 also help with that as well. But deeper tissue repair with those near infrared wavelengths. Because it's pliable, because it's flexible, the AL mask is not just for the face and neck. It can actually be applied to many parts of the body where you want to get blue, green, red, or 810 or 1064 too.
That's right. Someone that was testing this for us was using the neck strip part on her C-section scar.
Oh, you know what? You could also, if you had digestive discomfort.
You could put the whole mask right on your stomach.
Put the mask right on your stomach and have that help with something that's discomforting right there. So I talked about the shoulders and neck. I mean, you could even on an arm.
Yep.
I mean, obviously you'll see that it's not designed for that, but the straps are longer. They're about 12-inch straps, and so they're longer. So not only can they wrap around even a big head, I'm not going to say they can perfectly wrap around a waist. They aren't necessarily made that significant to wrap around a waist.
But you could lie down on a bed and drape it across your waist.
Yes, or put it face up and lay down on your back.
Yeah, it's so diverse, and that's why we wanted it to be pliable so that it could be used in multiple ways.
Now let's talk about a couple of things with the controller. I mentioned that it's rechargeable and portable. How long does it last? The thing is that really depends on how you use it, right? Because you can set blue or green or red, and then with one of those lights, you can actually also turn on that infrared function like we were talking about. Now, you can't have the infrared on by itself, but you can have it paired with the blue, green, or red. Why is that actually interesting and important? When you open up a 1064 channel through the skin topically, it reaches deeper through the tissue. When you open up, it's like opening up a tunnel and then chasing it with like a red light or a blue light or a green light. So it allows those other wavelengths to reach deeper into the tissue. Those working together are beneficial. Now, 1064 by itself, 810 by itself would all be beneficial.
Powerful.
So would red and blue and green.
And you're welcome to use them on their own.
But when you compare them, it's even more powerful.
Yeah.
So because you can pair lights together or wavelengths together and also deal with different intensities, I can't necessarily tell you how many cycles you're going to be able to get through on any given one because it depends on your usage. Let's just say it can do many cycles. I did 4 treatments with varying type of treatments in one of the tests, just looking at the battery alone, and I still had 2 bars left on the indicator on the control unit. I mean, so it lasts for a long time. How long does it take to charge? I'd say at least 4 hours, but no more than 8 because I always charged it overnight.
Just
right?
plug
That
it in
was my
overnight.
experience. Yeah, it was easy that way.
Yeah.
So portability is there, and that's super helpful. You can use it with or without the other piece. So you can use the neck piece by itself, or you can use the face piece by itself, or you can use them both together. They plug in with a USB-C into that control unit.
You can also wear the face piece and move the neck piece to where else.
Somewhere else.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be right here. They're not connected together.
Yeah, that's important. When you look at the control unit, you're also looking at, okay, it's got a timer. What's the timer? You can range the timer from 20 minutes to 30 minutes. Now, so we talked about you set the mode, which is the colors. You can turn on the infrared, and then you can set the intensity. Now you're going to see the light change. It's drawing from the same power source, so the light will change when you play around with the intensity or the infrared on and off. But what you are doing is you look at all of those functions and then play with the timer. That's what's available on that control unit. That is super easy, kind of in your face, easy, right? Play around with it, turn it on, turn it off, play with the different colors.
It's not super confusing.
Yeah.
That's what I like about it.
You'll see all the indicators.
Yeah.
It's a rather straightforward product, but with tons of benefit. So let's talk about some of the surface benefit, right? Like I mentioned, when you're using a blue, what would you use a blue for? Well, actually, before I get to what you would use a blue for, let me reiterate that in the big word, photobiomodulation, which is using light to help with supporting the body from the skin in. Other people would call it light therapy, things like that. When we're looking at that, there are 6,000 studies have been produced in studying different wavelengths of nanometer, or different colors, or even reaching the infrared state of the benefits. If we talk to you about some of the benefits, let me just say that is very surface level. If you go onto Google Scholar or any of the research clinical work searching for benefits of blue light therapy or something like that, you'll learn an awful lot.
That's right.
Right? There's an awful lot there. But when we're talking about blue light, usually people use blue for things like acne. They're trying to deal with bacteria.
Bacteria, yeah.
Right?
Yep, trying to kill the bacteria.
Some of the barriers. So you're looking about clarity of skin.
Yeah, if you have acne, it's great to use the blue to to get rid of the acne, followed by red to help with inflammation. But then also, once your acne has calmed down, you want to use the green because the green helps with scarring. Oh yeah, so scarring. So and the other thing, the green is coloring too. Yes. Right? It will help with pigmentation of the skin. And also, so scarring, sorry to go back to that, that's what the C-section scar, they used green and then he used red. Yeah. So green, blue, green, red we've talked an awful lot about. We know a lot about red with the 660 band, the illuminator, but inflammation, collagen production, instigation. A lot of the light waves actually stimulate collagen production, which is nice. With inflammation, I will say pain and trying to work with daily life
pain experiences, discomfort, daily life discomfort.
Well, and what would you use your 660 band for? You know, I know that I've held it in place on my shoulder before. I've held it in the back of my neck. This one is so much easier. I can drape it now instead. It's just a bigger surface. It's 660 band bigger.
Yeah, 660 band bigger. I mean, and those are powerful. And it's not to replace 660 band.
Of course it's not.
660 band is so portable, so functionally
I'm not
easy.
putting AO mask on my wrist.
Yeah, but if I'm trying to work on my blood, in particular, I'm using 60 band and using those arterial areas. You can still do that here, but it's just more diverse, right? Okay, so red has a multiplicity of benefits. When you get into the 810 and the 1064, now you're talking more about deeper tissue repair. You're talking about helping support collagen, not collagenase as far as inhibiting collagenase in elastase, or the elastin process of the skin, the flexibility of the skin.
We're tightening our skin, guys.
Tightening our
That's
skin,
what we're doing.
reducing wrinkles. Those things are also benefits of those bigger, working deeper in the skin to the surface. So you can see also the benefits of that deeper repair, like I would think repair of a scarring. Work deeper and then work it with green from the surface, a higher level of the skin.
Think about cellulite.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's actually a really good comment. You know, so you're looking at those and saying, okay, clarity, color, collagen. I got my alliteration through here. And then we're going to talk about deeper tissue support, deeper collagen tissue support, pain, daily pain management sort of thing for normal daily activities that we get aches and pains and things like that. But you're also talking about benefits even from surgery or from injury and things like that, where that can be beneficial.
It's just an amazing all-around mask. We've been through several iterations of it. We are so thrilled with what we have come up with, and can't wait to present it to you. I know you all want to know how much. Okay,
so pricing. Let's start with retail pricing. That's $493.75 at the retail price, and then the loyalty pricing, $395. That's with 275 points. As I said in the beginning, now you're going to find the gamut, right? You have your $50 units, you have your $1,000 units. This competes and performs better than the $1,000 unit that's out in the marketplace.
That's what we always try to do.
And even when that one is on sale that I've watched, it's like $750, right? We are effectively half price, looking at competing with something that has more to it, greater capacity, greater offering, greater durability. This is a powerhouse unit, something that is hot in the marketplace. They say strike while the iron's hot. This is out there. This is important. This is useful. Now, let me just touch on just a couple other things. When those that love blue, those that love bright, those that love youth, when you think about pairing the inside out and the outside in, these are phenomenal combinations of usage, right? One other commonly asked question when we kind of were testing through this was, well, can I use it back to back?
Yes. How long can the session be? So we have a timer that for 20 minutes and also one for 30. 20 minutes is a sufficient amount of time to get for a session, but it doesn't have to end at 20 minutes. You can do back-to-back sessions. You're not going to harm anything. As always, though, listen to your body. You know yourself best. So if you feel like it's time to stop, then stop. But you're not hurting anything by doing longer than 20 minutes. However, 20 minutes is a long enough session.
Now let's do another frequently asked questions. How do I wear it? Do I wear it tight to the skin, loose on the skin? Again, to your comfort, let's talk about people who've had not the most pleasant experience with like a 660 band when they strap it on super tight and it will heat up. These bulbs actually generate a lot of power. They're not a distant light bulb. It is right on the surface of the skin. And because they generate a lot of power, they heat up. That can create a burning sensation. So be smart in your application. If it's getting too warm, loosen it up. If it's too warm altogether to the point of discomfort, take it off.
Yes.
Right? Don't wear it beyond. There's no benefit to wearing it longer if it's uncomfortable.
That's right.
Right? So wear it to your comfort level. Obviously, touch on the surface of the skin is the right application. But not so much that your eyes are bulging or your lips are bulging out of the mask. Right? We don't need that.
We also had some comments. Some people felt like it was perfectly comfortable. Some people felt like right here, it hurt a little bit. It depends on your nose shape. And so I'm one of those. You can see that my nose, it hurt me a little bit right here when I was wearing the strap lower. So I made the strap go up a little bit higher, and it was perfect.
Yeah, find your comfort, play around with it, find the best usage. You're gonna get the breadth of the benefit of that light on you. One other thing, this is an electronically powered product, including when you disconnect the face mask and the neck mask from the power unit itself. You should never submerge this in water. You don't run it through a washing machine. You don't run it under water to clean it. Take a antimicrobial cloth, wipe it clean, and that's enough. Don't submerge it. You'll avoid the warranty on it. You never know. It is not waterproof.
That's right.
So water, even the smallest droplet of water in there, if you connect it to power, it will short it out and you avoided your warranty. It does come with a 1-year manufacturer's warranty, manufacturer performance, but it does not come with a misuse warranty on it. So make sure you use it the right way.
Okay, we're sure you have more questions and we have more answers for you. We actually have another video that will be coming out in a few weeks that will give more ideas on how to use, what to use it for, duration, things like that. So order your mask, and by the time that video comes out, you will have your mask in hand and you'll be able to follow along. Hope you love it.
Recently, we were on a business trip. And we were with several people, and we both every day had our water bottle with AO Gut and AO Youth mixed together.
Yeah, I was mixing in the hotel every morning.
Yeah, every single morning. And you drink yours pretty fast, but I like to drink mine over a longer period of time. So
like
I was,
all day.
Yeah, it kind of takes me all day. I love it. So I was drinking this every single day, and these people were saying, "What is that?" First of all, they're like, "What is that? It's green." And then they started to say, "No, seriously, like, what is that? What are the benefits?" And so I started to explain AO Gut and AO Youth, and several people said, "Okay, how do we buy that?" So, we demonstrate by what we do, what we have here at Solex, right? We look a certain way, we act a certain way, we talk about certain things around people. And what it leads to, having a blue tongue is a conversation starter that leads to a talk about methylene blue, right? So we want to know,
how are you a product of the product? I mean, in your situation, the example you just gave, you're a product of the product by actually consuming it and carrying it around with you. I think in this community, let's share. Share in the comments below after the live, not in the live chat, but in the comments below, how do you demonstrate being a product of the product? In what ways do you get yourself out there? Do you do the blue tongue? And what success stories have you had with doing the blue tongue, or whatever it might be? It's one thing that I like to think about and talk to people about when building business is, what makes you stand out from the crowd? What makes you different? And obviously your water bottle that was bluish green was standing out to the point where people are like, okay, what's that? When you walk around, you're talking to people and they're like, wait, what's on your tongue? You've been eating candy? That kind of thing. People ask about it because why? It is so different from the norm. It doesn't get mixed up in the noise. That standing out is striking to people, and they can't help themselves but want to ask. And that gives you the opportunity just to share with them what it is.
And there's a lot of things. It's not just supplements we're talking about. You could have someone say to you, "Why are you always so happy?" which leads into a discussion about inner voice. And you know what? We're going to give away one of my favorite products and the most asked about product over the last few weeks, AO Gut. So leave your comments after the live chat, and next week we will draw 3 winners of AO Gut. Congratulations. And guess what? We have something very exciting.
For a light, what's it called? Light relief, what's it called?
We got some bloopers, buddy.